So I am Jiyuna. I'm one of the hosts of Tatakai Tuesday. I also stream. Been playing fighting games my whole life.
My name is Majin Obama, and I play fighting games.
That's pretty accurate, I think. So this will mark my 15th year in Japan. That's pretty crazy.
So if he's 15, then I think I'm 13 and a half or something like that. The conversation that I had was like, they just had a tsunami, you going out there? Like, yeah, I think it's like 13 years now, 13 and a half. I think Japan at that time was still in the preliminary phase of a transitionary period. They're exiting, and they know that they're exiting the arcade era. Well, where do people go to play then? Going from arcades and places where everything is provided to you to go and play, to now we have to find some place and do it ourselves.
Obama was dooming mad hard. You didn't talk about how good it was. Early on when we came here, it was paradise. Arcade, like if you're an arcade fighting game fan, no planning, just walk around wherever you want to go, see an arcade, hop in, play some people, walk out, find another arcade.
We came at the tail end of a lot of this stuff, and even at the tail end, how would I even describe this to people? It's like some twisted wonderland that, for me, I'm just like starry-eyed and stuff like that. Like, oh my God, I can play whatever I want here. Incredible times, man. Just getting off of work and you're bugging or whatever, and then you're like, man, screw it. I'm gonna just go to the arcade and just play till they kick us off, and all that stress kind of goes away.
That was daily tradition. Right?
It was. That's the thing. It's like it wasn't just like a Wednesday. It wasn't like a Friday. And sometimes it was every day you could do that.
That was a good, I would say like 6-7 years when I first got here, and then that's when Street Fighter V was the first fighting game that didn't really come out in arcades at first, right?
And that's where we saw that hard pivot start to happen, and then the other publishers started to follow suit.
I need to give a shout out to Final Round Bats, so FRB, that is by Scott Popular and Matt, so for Genjiro. So they're American fighting game players. When I first came here, I lived in Nagoya, not in Tokyo. So I had to make the pilgrimage out here. It was pretty expensive, you know? As an English teacher, you didn't make a lot of money, so like I took like an overnight bus. I was staying in like a manga kisa. I was doing it as cheap as I could. Just doing it and seeing that like, you know what? People can host events out here. Like you don't need to be Japanese. If you want to do something, you can make it happen. That definitely was like, this would be something really cool if I could make it happen.
And that plays into the previous question too, because this is before Street Fighter V, but there were still other titles that didn't have arcade platform support, right? So Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Killer Instinct, NRS games out here.
Mortal Kombat.
Those were all run at Final Round Bats. And so for me, I got super tight because with my work schedule, I think I only went one time, and like you said, on a teacher salary, you're spending like $100 to go out to Tokyo, and you get to stay for like 45 minutes. You get a slice of pizza maybe, but you get to play.
That pizza was bad too, man. It was cardboard, little like piece of paper, yeah.
I'd say that was an event that kind of like gave some people the vision of, you know, I guess if you don't have an arcade, you can still make something happen.
So Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming out. The devs came out and said there's never gonna be an arcade release, right? Just forget about it. So we wanted to make something happen. I've been working with Red Bull and Daigo for years now. And they just opened up a new gaming space called Red Bull Gaming Sphere in Tokyo. They said, hey, if we have this new venue, we're gonna open it up if you wanna do something. So I said, Obama, this is a good chance. We bought all the copies ourselves, like there's no developer support.
We were going to every bookstore to get the manual, the guide, because the guide had the code for like, I think it was like Blue Goku or something like that.
One of those dudes, yeah.
One of the DLC characters. We're all on bicycles and stuff going to bookstores trying to get all these codes. I think the first one we ran, I think it was like 70 people showed up.
A lot more than we expected.
Yeah.
That's why it wasn't just books. We had to run and get more copies too, because we didn't expect people to show up. The first event actually had quite a high amount of Japanese players. Japanese events here are run very well, right? Very, very smooth. We were winging it the whole time. They're like, what is this? This is so like unprofessional, right? This is not how an event should be run. I think even now we still keep that spirit of like, hey man, this is a fighting game tournament. We're doing our best, we're having fun out here, help us out. That first event, good memories, but it was definitely a trial by fire.
I look back on it and it's like, you're like, yeah, it's not that great, but I'm like, that's a genesis of something like that. You can't really put an event like this on 1 or 2 people. It's like 50 people involved in this over the course of like 7 years.
Originally it was just me and Obama, and so we called our friends out that we knew already. Every single week they were out there, you know, middle of summer out here, it's like 200 degrees outside, they're still out here doing work. Middle of winter, it's freezing, like raining, doesn't matter, they're always there on time.
A lot of the events and a lot of the event infrastructure here it's really on the backs of like 5 dudes. You know, it's one thing when you're Atlas and you're holding that globe up and you're young, but when you start to get obligations, when other stuff starts to pile on and you get older, and the rest of the community is still depending on just those 5 guys, that doesn't work. So When you can spread the workload like that and be able to trust each other, then it works out in a balanced way. When did Fighting Tuesday stop? There was a little something called a global pandemic that happened, and I think we stopped at Fighting Tuesday 99.
Yes.
But eventually they decided to reopen the venue. We became an official Bandai Namco event. We were running at the time Dragon Ball FighterZ, Tekken 7, Soul Calibur 6. Obviously, after the pandemic, a couple of those titles are no longer really officially supported in the same capacity. We changed the name, Fight Tatakai. And so just naturally, we kind of just gravitated towards that. And instead of it being restricted only to Bandai Namco titles, we started to run pretty much anything that was out that people wanted to play.
I was actually a little bit nervous, right? It took us, I would say, 2, 3, 4 months for to ramp back up to the point where we felt, you know what, we can probably do this weekly again. So we started doing weekly again, and now it's probably bigger than ever, I think, in terms of weekly turnout.
Yeah, I'd say average attendance, I feel confident in saying 100 plus.
Sometimes we have over 100 people.
On average, probably around over 100 people.
To be honest, it's kind of crazy, unbelievable, I would say.
It's the easiest event you could ever attend. Literally, you show up. That's it. There's no online registration, so it's casuals and it's just free play really up until about 7:50, where typically we'll start to run a single elimination bracket.
You might be like, oh, there's nothing on the line, I'm not gonna be nervous. Once you sit down and you start playing, your hands start shaking, you start dropping combos, you realize okay. Not to brag a little bit, I think we've produced a few world champions over the years. I think our single limb tournaments might help out, who knows. Of course, we got a good, Kazunoko was our first, right? Ultimate world champion, he won multiple things, but he was grinding at Tatakai Tuesday all the time. Now we have Sennaru's as a world champion. He won Evo, and then literally the week after, he's back just playing in his suit like nothing changed.
Off the top of my head, Jing, Moai from Type Lumina, Rangshu comes off.
Rangshu, yeah, 2 times.
Yutoto also is an Evo chip. That's all Evo champions, just Evo. If you expand that conversation to include finalists at some of these big stages, that number shoots up into double digits very quickly.
You literally just walk in and fight against the best player in the world in that game, right? It doesn't matter who you are or anything. That no barrier, everybody's welcome spirit of the FGC is still around today, and that's, I think, what really separates us from the other esports titles.
Not that we encourage it either, but you can be a middle schooler, you can be an elementary school student and run into a world champion at Tuesday. You want to cater to a bunch of different levels of play and a bunch of different types of players, right? There's some people there who want to be able to challenge the best. If you can give them a taste of that competitive environment, that's the idea. That way you can go there and feel satisfied about a variety of different experiences that you get.
You got Guilty Gear Strive over there, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising over here, French Bread Games in that corner over there, Under Night 2 and Melty Blood Type Lumina, and of course you got Tekken 8 as the main game.
Our event is not a tournament, it's a gathering. It's a gathering that features a tournament. We wanted to have a much more casual, we want everyone involved, anybody can attend. You don't even have to play, you can still show up.
There are a lot of people over the years who have done a lot of help. There's a few legacy staff, but there's also a lot of new faces. And that's what's really cool about it, the fact that, all right, so we have this line that's supporting, that's holding this thing up, and if this person can't do it anymore, somebody else is willing to jump in that same spot and say, I can support the weight too.
When it was Fighting Tuesday, I used to go to the venue from 11 a.m. all day. I'd be there until the end. Now I haven't even been to the event in a couple months. I've got a new daughter right now. I don't even have a physical presence, and the event is running like Obama said, it's bigger than ever, it's smoother than ever. When we talk about setup, we don't just mean these people carry chairs and everything. People are learning how to set up streams, how to record, all these other technical skills that can help them outside of the event.
On a given week, we have 4 to 5 streams going in there. Now we have Tekken every week is in English and Japanese, and we have 3 other streams for the other games that are there as well. So I teach this person how to set something up like that, get them to the point where they can do it. Then they teach someone else, then they teach someone else, and before you know it, you have 5 to 6 people showing up there every week, and they're setting up streams. They're setting up streams and running tournaments.
A lot of times when someone tells you that, hey, this thing is really good, you naturally think yeah, that's good over there, but there's no way that would work for me. But I try, it does work. After a year or 2, I think we got to shout out to Seijin, right? He was the first one over there to really be look, there's no reason we can't do this over here. We have the talent, we got the motivation. They replicated perfectly with Say Jam Slam. Huge success. It is possible. We got to put the ego aside a little bit and be you know what, maybe we can learn something. Maybe we can try it.
I want things to be better for everybody. What can we do to think differently about what we're doing in terms of being able to replicate Not necessarily the same level of success, but even just to change the perspective on that.
I still think America's got the best majors, right? Whenever I see you guys out there, Combo Breaker, CO, or even just Evo in Vegas, I'm like, I wish we could do something like that out here. But we're starting to get, Evo Japan is cool, but still that US major vibe, that US major energy is still kind of lacking here. So it's like every scene has its strong points, I think. A lesson learned from Tatakai Tuesday that could help is, I think the first one, the most obvious one, is just do it. A lot of times when people will talk to me or ask about it, they're like, there's no one in my area, it's not worth doing. It's like, we didn't expect all these people to come out. Even if you're just at like university or college, like just make a little game club, or just start something small. You don't know, there's probably a lot of people thinking like you. They're like, I wish we had this space, I wish we had it, but no one's stepping up. The other thing too is that, like, don't think that you need to host a 100-person like local. It's like anything that happens will be appreciated, and it can grow from there if you want it to grow. Or you could just stay small and be happy with that too.
It's not about the numbers, it's about the attitude to me. No one's expecting a 150-man local. 10 to 15 people, that's great. And when everybody takes ownership of something and everybody has an idea of where they want to take something, that rising tide, that raises all the boats there.
The perseverance is what really keeps the event going. And now, we got this bad boy.
And the winner of the best local is... needs no introduction, Tatakai Tuesday!
Did it feel good to be recognized? Of course, yeah, anything feels good to be recognized. To be able to win something like that is pretty cool because, to be honest with you, running events, there's a lot of thankless work and thankless jobs in the scene. I
don't want to be corny or anything. I'm a very competitive person normally, but for this one event, of course, I'm happy to win. Next year, if this event happens again, I hope we don't win. I hope we are like retired and we can show someone else there. Hopefully you guys can get some more shine next year.
For me, it's about what can we do to create the environment, create it ourselves. The environment that reminds us why we started playing these games in the first place.
I think it's really important for us to have locals.
Super important. Without that, people have like no chance to play in offline.
It's more than just fighting games. It's a place where we can put our troubles at the door.
Unlike the online experience, you get to actually meet people in person, you get to make friends.
Since I came here, I was like kind of lost, but now like majority of my friends are from this place specifically.
Why are locals needed by the community? So this is a fighting game question, but this is so much bigger than fighting games. So I don't know if you know what like a third space is. Third space, the idea is that you have your first place, which is home. That's where you spend all your time. Your second place is work or school. That's where you spend the rest of your time. That third place is somewhere outside of those two where you can socialize, you can meet new people. It really kind of affects like who you are. I think a lot of people now are they're on Discord, right? They're just locked in, they're online with their online friends, online community and stuff, and like that's cool, but you need to socialize. You have to go out there, you have to meet people, you have to meet other human beings that are different from you. Not everyone agrees with you, not everyone is exactly the same person you are. There's a lot of difference that you have to become tolerant and get used to, and you might not know anybody, but you're gonna make friends, you're gonna learn how to make friends. We all like fighting games, but giving them this opportunity to not just play, but develop, grow as a person, grow up, and become more mature, I think is something very, very, very crucial.
I think about what my dad always used to tell me when I was younger. He's like, some of the best friends I made in life weren't necessarily my classmates. They were people who I was doing extracurricular activities with. When you're out there, not at home, not in a place of obligation, but out there trying to achieve different goals or trying to get better at something, it creates a platform and a space for personal growth beyond even the games. What's the future of it? If it's the same or better than the present, I'm happy. I have some ideas, but for the time being, man, that's just to continue to provide a space for people who want to play, regardless of what their goal is. If they want to become best in the world or if they want to beat some guy they don't like, be able to provide a space for them to be able to grow and do that. That's good enough for me. Don't get it twisted. There's definitely crazier stuff that I want to do.
Yeah, Obama's always had a lot of like goals and ideas, and he wants to do this, he wants to do that. My only goal for that to do is just keep it going as long as possible. Hopefully, even without us, if the event can just, even if the name changes, as long as like the spirit is still there and it's still running, even without us, that's all I really want.
It sounds really corny, but it's not brick and mortar. The place can still be there, but it's the people and the spirit that they preserve. That's the real event.